Kamala Harris 8/18/24. Donald Trump sarcastically says he's better than Kamala Harris. The most recent remarks that former President Donald Trump has made regarding Vice President Kamala Harris have once again stoked controversy, which is a turn of events that has grown increasingly typical in the contest for the presidency in 2024. At a campaign rally that took place on Saturday in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump deviated from his script in order to make an unexpected remark about his appearance in comparison to that of the leading candidate for the Democratic nomination for president. "I am of the opinion that I am considerably more attractive." In response to a criticism that he had read from a Republican commentator, Trump made the statement to the crowd that he was a more attractive person than Kamala. According to Trump, the commentator made the suggestion that Harris's attractiveness was one of her most significant strengths in this election. She said, "Kamala has one big advantage, that she's a very beautiful woman," Trump recalled, before proceeding to disprove the claim by presenting his own evaluation of the similarities and differences between their physical features. Commentators on the internet flocked to social media to make fun of Trump for not adhering to policy and for making fun of Harris when he was speaking at the rally in the strategic swing state. Despite the fact that Republican analysts have cautioned Trump to focus on policies rather than attacks, this most recent comment is part of a rising pattern of personal assaults that Trump has launched on Harris ever since she entered the race for the 2024 election. The former president has taken to referring to her as a radical liberal and has come up with a number of nicknames that are not particularly nice, such as Kamabla, Lion Kamala, and Laughin' Kamala. Trump has not backed down from these personal assaults. Rather, he has doubled down on his strategy. The former president defended his right to criticize Harris personally during a news conference that took place at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Trump made a direct statement, saying, "I believe that I am entitled to personal attacks. There is not a great deal of regard that I have for Harris. I do not have a great deal of respect for her brains, and I believe that she will be an unsuccessful candidate for the presidency." Attempting to provide an explanation for his stance, Trump made the accusation that Harris was using the legal system as a weapon against him and other individuals. In addition, he asserted that Harris had referred to him as weird, despite the fact that fact-checkers were quick to point out that it was actually her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who had begun referring to Republican policies as weird in late July. Across the political spectrum, people have expressed alarm and raised eyebrows in response to the comments made by the former president. Beyond merely calling people by nicknames and insulting their brains, Trump's predilection for attacking individuals has gone much further. Trump questioned Harris's racial identity during an interview that took place in July at the National Association of Black Journalists, NABJ, conference. He stated that Harris had only lately become a black person. The fact that Harris is the first Black, Asian American, and woman to hold the post of vice president, as well as the fact that she is the daughter of a Jamaican father and an Indian mother, also contributed to the criticism that was directed toward this particular comment. A pollster for the Republican Party named Frank Luntz has expressed concern that statements like this could further hurt Trump's already vulnerable reputation with female voters. As an example, Luntz referred to the gender difference between Harris and Trump as a chasm, citing recent polling data that demonstrates a huge disparity in support between male and female voters. The distance between the two is not a gender gap. Rather, it is a chasm. Trump is intentionally going out of his way and insulting his way on purpose. In an interview with CNN, Luntz stated that this was something that had never happened before. He continued by saying, "Don't insult your opponent on how they look, how they speak. Women can't stand that." He went on to explain that Trump's personal assaults against Harris are particularly detrimental. He said, "Don't insult your opponent on such things." This strategy is being criticized by a number of Trump's former aides. According to several of them, Kellyanne Conway, who was a top consultant for Donald Trump's campaign in 2016, recently made an appearance on Fox Business to talk about the race. In her defense of a different approach, she stated, "The winning formula for President Trump is very plain to see. It's fewer insults, more insights, and that policy contrast." She pushed for a completely new method. Conway stressed the need of concentrating on policy differences, pointing out that Trump has a 2-to-1 advantage over Biden-Harris on the economy and inflation, on the border, on Israel and Hamas. It is of great importance to pay attention to these distinctions. Specifically, she claimed that if Trump were to just contrast the policies, he'll win. The fight for the presidency in 2024 is becoming increasingly intense, and both candidates are facing serious hurdles. The challenge for Harris is to persuade people that she is capable of effectively leading the country and putting her proposed programs into action under her leadership. In a recent announcement, her campaign has presented a detailed economic policy program with the primary objective of reducing expenses for families in the United States. There are a number of initiatives that are included in the proposal. These include extending child tax credits and other tax incentives, as well as providing a sum of $25,000 to over 1 million first-time homebuyers who have a history of making their rent payments on time. Trump faces the difficulty of maintaining discipline in his messaging and expanding his appeal beyond the people who are already a part of his core constituents. Recent polling averages suggest that Harris is ahead of Trump in 5 out of 7 battleground states. This is mostly due to the fact that she is receiving substantial support from younger people and women. When it comes to preparing for their first debate, which is slated to take place on September 10th on ABC News, the upcoming weeks will be extremely important for both campaigns. Despite the fact that the Harris campaign has not yet accepted to these dates, Trump has suggested that additional debates take place on September 4th with Fox News and September 25th with NBC News.